Exclusive, Michael Jackson's surprising gesture to pop star behind scenes of We Are the World. 1980s hitmaker Kim Carnes, singer behind Bette Davis Eyes, opens up about the king of pop's behavior at the recording of We Are the World, the charity single that raised millions for humanitarian aid. It's been 40 years since a supergroup of America's biggest stars came together in a Los Angeles studio to record We Are the World, the fastest-selling U.S. pop single in history. Inspired by Band Aid's festive release Do They Know It's Christmas? In the UK in December 1984, musician and activist Harry Belafonte formed USA for Africa. And the quadruple platinum single, written by Michael Jackson and Lionel Richie and produced by Quincy Jones and Michael Omartian, raised more than $80 million for humanitarian aid in Africa and the U.S. Alongside legends like Bob Dylan, Diana Ross, Ray Charles, Tina Turner, Bruce Springsteen, Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, and Paul Simon was Kim Carnes, who is best known for her 1981 single Bette Davis Eyes, which topped the U.S. Billboard Hot 100 for 9 consecutive weeks and was #1 in 21 countries. Standing next to Michael Jackson, who only finished writing We Are the World the night before the recording, Kim, now 79, remembers holding his hand. She says, Michael Jackson and I were able to have some conversations and that I found to be pretty incredible. He was so shy and kind and, of course, an amazing artist. She says their conversations were nothing deep, adding, just love your work, blah, blah, blah. Nothing earth-shattering. But he was very kind and shy. I remember thinking, he's so kind. In contrast, Cyndi Lauper, who she sang with, went for it full throttle. I just thought, she's doing her own spin on the part she was singing, her own take on it, and that's to be admired, says Kim. Topping the charts around the world when it was released on March 7, 1985, Kim remembers Bob Geldof popping in during recording, which took place between January 21st and 29th, to speak to them all, saying, we said hello and talked a little. But her overriding memory of recording is of the single being a true collaboration, a great leveler, with no one vying for special attention or trying to outshine anyone else. She says of the experience, I felt very fortunate. It was incredible. I didn't see any egos. Nobody was an A*** hole. People were just supportive and happy to be there. I loved every second. I'd never met Bob Dylan before and I'm a huge fan, so I was thrilled to just be in the same room as him. Quincy Jones arranged for us all to have the sheet music and lyrics of We Are the World, and during a break in the recording, everybody signed each other's. I still have to get mine framed. A Grammy Award-winning artist, Kim, who has duetted with Barbra Streisand, Neil Diamond, and Kenny Rogers, who she also wrote songs for alongside her husband David Ellingson, has enjoyed a stellar career as a singer and songwriter. Still working and hoping to produce a 14th studio album, 21 years after her last one, Chasin' Wild Trains, speaking from her home in Nashville, where she moved to from LA in 1994, her CV reads like a who's who of rock music. Her first publishing deal saw her sharing demo recording time with future members of the Eagles, Don Henley and Glenn Frey. And in the early 1970s, she and Ellingson, who she's been married to for 58 years, co-wrote songs with and opened on stage for David Cassidy, who was then a global teen idol. We were with David for 3 years. We went all over the world with him, she says. We became really close friends with him. He was so incredibly famous that he couldn't go out anywhere, so I'm glad our house was a safe haven for him, as he needed it. He didn't want to be a teen idol, and the songs he sang were not his taste in music. He liked Led Zeppelin, Neil Young, CSNY, and that was frustrating for him. He was a great guy, and he loved to laugh. She is glad she didn't get to see Cassidy descend into alcoholism. We didn't hang out with David once his life took that turn, she says. We have nothing but wonderful memories of him. A hitmaker for Kenny Rogers with her composition, Don't Fall in Love with a Dreamer in 1980, her own single Bette Davis Eyes and her album Mistaken Identity were next to become chart toppers the following year. And this led to an extraordinary friendship with the notoriously spiky movie star Bette Davis, then 73, who was delighted with the song and its singer. Kim says she was really happy with that record and said it gave her credibility with her grandson, which was funny as she was such a well-known actress. We struck up the most wonderful friendship. I'd go to her house. I took her a platinum album and she got a ladder, hammer, and nails and hung it herself. Once when I came home after doing a TV show, she rang and said, "Hello, Kim. This is Miss Bette Davis. I just saw your performance and thought you were marvelous." Little things like that were memorable and mind-boggling. I think she had that prickly reputation because she was a woman who stood up for her rights and fought the studios. But she couldn't have been nicer to me. And I could relate because of my own battles with record companies, so we had a lot in common. Dubbed the Queen of Rasp and Roll because of her gravelly voice, non-smoker Kim does not relish comparisons to Rod Stewart, who she duetted with in 1981, or Bonnie Tyler. While she has met and likes them both, she says, "I don't like comparisons." Born to an attorney father and a hospital administrator mother, she says they didn't understand the music business and were not supportive. Even after great success, my mom couldn't accept it, she says. If she came to a show with a friend, she'd say to them, "That's not my daughter up there." But after she died, I was going through her things and found a notebook in which she'd written, "I don't know why I could never tell Kim I was proud of her success. I was sad for my mom and a bit for myself." Her sons Colin and Rhea followed in her footsteps, also working with her, and she even met her idol because of them. She laughs. "Once, one of my sons had a Halloween party, and all of a sudden Leonard Cohen walked into our kitchen. It blew our minds. We all idolized him, and it turned out his daughter was at school with our older son and was at the party, and he came to check on her. But he sat down and we talked for several hours. That was one of the best moments of my life ever." Since then, she has moved from LA to Nashville, but says she is in mourning for the city, following the catastrophic wildfires. She says, "My heart, the Palisades, our forever home gone. Many best friends have lost their homes, others have evacuated to different hotels. Of course, my heart goes out to those who have sadly lost their lives in this tragedy." Pacific Palisades was a gem. Everyone is in shock. The community is resilient, but this is too much. My hometown will never be the same. Thank goodness, all our friends are safe. Returning to the recording of We Are the World, Kim, who calls the UK a magical place and describes Adele and Ed Sheeran as amazing artists, regrets not performing at the Live Aid concert 6 months later. "I wasn't there, and I wish I had been. I was not invited, and I have no idea why." But she will never forget playing her part in making the single. She says, "When I heard the song originally, and then when we were all in the room singing it, I remember thinking, this is a perfect song. This will be so successful. Not a doubt in my mind. This is a big hit, and it's going to do really well."